when you're feeling low or demotivated in life, like I usually do, what kind of movies do you watch? Comedy to make you laugh and forget, romance to probably give you hope or make you horny, maybe sci-fi or fantasy to escape, or do you watch something like
all you have to do today is pick up that phone and speak the words that I have taught you, and I will make you richer than the most powerful CEO in the United States of fucking America.
To give you some context, I started this company called Fully Filmy back in 2015 with some of my friends, and it's been 7 years since we started that company, and over the last 7 years we've seen a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of successes, failures, confusion, self-doubt, and you get it. It's really a joy to be your own boss, I can tell you that. It's amazing to build and work on the things that you really love, but at the same time, there are also so many tough situations and challenges, and during those times, you need some kind of inspiration. And this inspiration can come from family, from friends, from maybe a mentor, or in my case,
pictures, movies, films, cinema.
So hello and welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today's video is about some of the best films about entrepreneurs that really impacted me, and I'm going to pick out some of my favorites across 4 different categories: spirit, harshness, madness, and love. But first, roll that intro. You know the dialogue in Mani Ratnam's Guru, which goes something like, if people are criticizing you or spreading negativity about you, it's a sign that you're growing. This Mani Ratnam film makes us feel that texture of that thick skin that you need when you're an entrepreneur, standing up to the powers that be and just working through all that baseless criticisms and insults and all the shit that people say about you. But that's just one facet of what defines the spirit of entrepreneurship. Sudha Kongara's Surarai portrait, it quite literally takes off from a tragedy in the hero's life, and the rest of the film is about his desire to take up a cause of making flying accessible to every common man. Even though this film is not directly about entrepreneurship, Pursuit of Happiness has become like this template for films which show the ultimate underdog story, or take the extremely underrated Rocket Singh Salesman of the Year. A simple story of a simple guy with a simple dream of starting his own company, armed with nothing except his people-friendly nature and the people who join him on that journey. Or TV shows like Silicon Valley or TVF Pictures, which take a comedic approach to show an entire journey of a startup and all the powers and market forces and competition that startup founders have to face. But my personal favorite from this category, it just takes all of these different facets, mixes it with tons and tons of masala, with emotion, with bucket loads of style. The one film that always picks me up when I'm down. Suresh Krishna's Annamalai. Over the last 2 years, and especially during the end of 2021, I was feeling very, very low in my entrepreneurial journey with respect to my company. And then I watched the film, and the sheer power of this film. This film is so powerful that genuinely, I'm not kidding, it didn't solve all my problems, but it's given me the strength to just block out all the noise, get up, brush the dirt off our shoulders, and just do it all over again. And even if Annamalai is so over the top, so melodramatic, so unbelievable, it still hits so hard even today. Every dialogue is a banger, every emotional beat is a sucker punch to the chest, every scene is a goosebump moment, and the strangest thing is, Annamalai is a story about an entrepreneur who never even wanted to be an entrepreneur in the first place. He was just a simple man with a simple life and simple desires until he gets f***ed over by the person who he used to trust his entire life with, his best friend. Yeah, f*** you, Ashok. It's the situation that pushes Annamalai to taking matters into his own hands, into becoming this force of nature that just destroys everything in its path without any violence, purely through strategy and just sheer hard work. And this reluctant entrepreneur character is such a pure Indian emotion, because just like the story of most Indian entrepreneurs, Annamalai's story is like a do or die situation. If you're feeling low in whatever journey that you're on, just switch on Annamalai. It's on Prime Video. Just watch Annamalai, and in less than 3 hours, see how you feel. Having the spirit is one thing, but the world is not just waiting to hand you over everything if you just have the spirit, right? Personal experience. The founder reveals the dark side of the beginning of McDonald's, which is like the happiest food brand in the world, where a ruthless salesman joins his company, rises to the top, and then pushes the original founders out of their original business, which they started with so much love. On the other hand, you have a rom-com like Jerry Maguire, where a very successful sports agent at the peak of his career gets fired for a single mistake, and he has to start all over again, building his own company with almost zero resources. And then you have this modern day masterpiece of a film, my favorite under this category, and once again probably one of my favorite films of all time because it is so similar to Annamalai. The legendary David Fincher's Social Network.
Welcome to Facebook.
Whichever David Fincher film you see, whether it's Seven or Fight Club or Zodiac, there's a certain style to it, there's a level of perfection to it. But his most perfect film, in my opinion, is surprisingly not a thriller. It's actually a tense, non-linear drama about the journey of a company which pretty much changed the entire world. But if you dig even deeper, this film, the story is actually a story about friendship and how it can get destroyed in the pursuit of creating something bigger than yourself. The Social Network feels like a reverse Annamalai, where Mark Zuckerberg, the protagonist, cheats Eduardo Saverin, his best friend, while also in a way cheating many other people like the Winklevoss twins. All of these people who put their trust in him because he was building something to look forward to, but unfortunately, they forgot to watch their own backs. And apart from every other perfect aspect which makes this film a modern day classic, I'd highly recommend listening to the Social Network soundtrack, especially when you're working. If you follow the startup world, whether you're in India or abroad, whether you look at Ola founder Bhavish Agarwal or whether you look at Tesla and SpaceX founder Elon Musk, there's a certain element of madness inside every entrepreneur, right? One type of madness is the one that you need to have. Like Adam Newman, the founder of WeWork in the series We Crashed, whose madness makes him see the future in a way that most people don't. Or Steve Jobs in the film Steve Jobs by Danny Boyle, whose madness makes him create the most sophisticated, most beautiful products while being unable to mend the broken pieces of his own family. Like Carroll Shelby and Ken Miles in Ford vs. Ferrari, whose combined madness pushes the boundaries of manufacturing, technology, and even physics. And then the second type of madness is the one that you need to avoid. Like Jordan Belfort in Martin Scorsese's epic Wolf of Wall Street, whose madness is so confusingly infectious that it drives people to rise up in life while at the same time scripting their own downfall. Or Howard Hughes in another Martin Scorsese film, The Aviator. His obsession with pushing his own limits, which drives him into the prison of his own mind. For this category though, I wanted to go with a slightly different approach, something that I watched recently, this TV show. This incredible TV show that I watched on Disney Plus Hotstar. It's called The Dropout. Sometime in your life, either you or someone you know might have gotten cheated, right? Maybe you got a fake product, maybe a relative borrowed money and didn't return it, maybe someone stole your wallet, maybe someone made you invest in crypto and now you are broker than you ever were. When you get cheated like this, the first thing that happens is that you lose your trust in people, and the second thing that happens is that you become super careful with everything that you do after this. And we do this even when we get cheated for $100 or $1,000. But what if you get cheated for $1 billion? What would you feel like, and how do you think that is going to impact the world around you? The journey of Elizabeth Holmes begins with this noble cause, building a product that makes the hassle of blood tests super easy using just a single drop of blood. And from 2003 to 2015, Elizabeth builds her own company, Theranos, which is supposed to turn her dream into a reality of helping humanity. And in the process, it makes her the youngest, wealthiest, self-made female billionaire in the world. But in the next 2 years, everything turns to zero and she gets convicted of pulling the biggest, most dangerous cases of fraud in history. How did this happen? Why did this happen? Watch the show and be blown away by this incredibly unbelievable true story. Beyond everything else, beyond every other facet or every other characteristic, some entrepreneurs are driven just by love. Like Walt Disney in Saving Mr. Banks, who just loved making cartoons and he loved it so much that it kind of bordered on madness. Or Billy Beane in Moneyball. Once again, not an entrepreneur, but there are so many entrepreneurial lessons that you can learn from Billy Beane and Moneyball. Like his absolute pure love for the game of baseball and his mentorship skills and his ability to find talent. And you get to see this the way he assembles this perfectly imperfect team which everyone thought will lose until they start winning. But my favorite film in this category of entrepreneurs driven by love is this very simple, very feel-good film which I have spoken about in probably many videos before this. This is Jon Favreau's Chef. After years of serving as a head chef in so many fancy restaurants, making a lot of money and feeding rich people, one day Chef Carl Casper loses his job, which strangely becomes a blessing in disguise. He closes the chapter of his life and he starts right from zero. He has this idea of building his own food truck with his son, getting on the road with that food truck, stopping at different cities, feeding random strangers his signature Cuban sandwiches. And through this emotional journey, he kind of rediscovers why he fell in love with cooking in the first place. To see the smiles and the joy on the faces of the people who tasted his food. And at this point of time, in a strange way, even I really relate to this because I'm trying to rediscover my roots, because somewhere down the line, looking at sales figures and targets and all of the other stuff that comes with business, you lose track of why you started. And when you realize that, just like Chef, you break it all down and you try to build it back up again. And those were some of my favorite stories, my favorite movies about entrepreneurs that really impacted me, which always managed to pick me up when I'm down. I'd love to know if I missed out on anything. If you have any suggestions, tell me in the comments. Hit like to make YouTube happy and make this video discoverable by more people. But for now, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next Friday.